Welcome to the Yo-11 podcast, mostly Vegas, no BS, casino experience, and more. This is episode 127, and welcome to season 6. Michael Trager is a casino and travel loyalty expert who also helps people turn their travel dreams into reality. And now your host, Michael Trager. How's it going, Michael?
It is going great. I cannot believe we are on season 6 of Yo-11, even though we sort of make up the seasons. That's can't believe we've gotten to 127 episodes of Yo-11, which would mean that the entire Zorkcast podcast channel is probably well over 250 total episodes. I've been doing this a while.
You've been doing it for a long time. 250. There should be some sort of a like when you reach 300 total. That'll be what, 50 episodes from now? So episode 177 for us will be episode 500 for you. So we should, I don't know, have a little party or something. 500, like get like a golden mic, the Golden Mic Award or something like that.
Dun dun dun. Yes, that's true. But that it's sort of cool. And we are doing a very good job now. I think we'll see. We don't know. I'm saying we're doing a very good job, but we've just started of trying to keep it to our new format, which I think are more comfortable announcing that we are trying to drop 2 episodes a week at the beginning of the week. So either like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. And that's what we're going to try to stick with until we end a season. And then we have a little bit of a hiatus, which gives us a little bit of a break. But we don't know when we're ending the season yet. So that's where we are.
Yep. Knowing you, would be like in the middle of June. You'd be like, let's change the season number. Let's make it season 7.
I know it's maybe we should, what we should probably do? We should probably become a little bit more OCD about it and be like, a season has 8 episodes or 10 episodes or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. How do other podcasts?
Does that go in your union contract? Do you remember why I think it was the last season of The Sopranos was like an A and a B season? And that was all because of the union contracts.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh. So because what happens is we're in season 6 right now. So we're Movestro's under the season 6 Zorkcast union contract. So if I don't, but right now there are going to be big negotiations going on for the season 7 contract.
Oh yeah, big negotiations. For sure.
So that's why I'll just keep season. I might have to make season 6B because I just have a feeling the season 7 contract is going to be like really, really good. So I just want to hold off on that. That's the benefits increases and all that kind of stuff. And that'll probably be negotiated at some point before Virgin stops striking.
Yeah, at some point, yeah. When they start making negotiations that work, then we'll look at a new season for sure. Absolutely, that's when it'll happen.
Does anyone even know? I was so amazed the other day that Virgin Las Vegas, that they were still striking. It's just like been going on forever. It's like you sort of forget about it, right? It's like, oh, they're the property that they're still striking.
Yeah, it becomes a thing where it's just like, over there, if you look across over here, you can see, Paris and the Eiffel Tower, the Bellagio fountains over there. And if you go further up the strip, you'll see, a Virgin Hotel striking. It just becomes part of the fixture after a while. I think that's what's going to happen.
I do. And that is, it is definitely, that property is definitely a thinker, because I think I was saying to you yesterday, it still amazes me that such a good casino operator like Mohegan Sun failed so miserably at Virgin. I just don't understand what went wrong and why. It's just so surprising for there to be such a good operator who did not do well in Vegas. And I just don't understand it. You would think it would be easier to do. I don't know. That's a good thing that's a good thing to ponder. And actually, that's one of our new ideas. Is the Yo-11 Ponder. It's the podcast Ponder.
All right, let's get to the Yo-11 podcast Ponder. And we are here. All right, the Yo-11 podcast Ponder. Take it away, Michael.
Okay, we are here. I know I like your podcast ponder. So today my ponder today is if you had to choose your favorite high limit restroom to do your business in, like say you couldn't get back to your hotel room or you were going, it wasn't possible to get back to your hotel room, which property's high limit bathroom would you choose?
Now, as I understand it, Cosmopolitan has a very nice one. From what I've seen and experienced, Bellagio is pretty all right. I'm sure Wynn is extraordinary. As far as any properties downtown, you're kind of at a loss. But I will tell you that the worst bathroom overall, VIP or not, is at Binion's. It is just, you don't want to be there, and like they don't have like hooks to hang stuff up. So if it's like wintertime and you're there with a coat and stuff, you got nowhere to put your stuff. Binion's has horrible bathrooms. They need to fix that. Anyways,
So you need to try to get over to Circa.
I was gonna say, if you want one of the best ones downtown, Circa, second floor, can't go wrong. Nice environment, nice ambiance, fantastic. It's a wonderful.
But do they
wonderful
have a
restaurant.
high limit? Do they have a high limit bathroom?
I would have. You know what? Wait, I've been all up through high limit. I don't remember seeing a high limit restroom.
Don't they have it Circa? They have a little lounge between the high limit tables and the high limit slots.
Yeah, they have a
Like a
little bit of
lounge
a like
area?
a little lounge area with some with some seating and stuff, but I didn't see like a separate restroom for high limit when I was there. Then again, when
Yeah,
I
I
was
got
there,
this idea.
I was working on slot machines and stuff, but I didn't see one. I could
Yeah, I
be
got
wrong.
this. Yeah, I got this idea because what we're going to talk about in today's tease is mostly the great episode, beginning of the year episode that Crap Vegas had, and they were talking about bathrooms. So I was starting to ponder that more, and I heard that the high limit bathroom, I think if it was either Venetian or Palazzo or both, has the Japanese toilets, and you know how much I love those toilets.
Oh wow. Okay, that's interesting. Well, listen, you have traversed a lot of high limit rooms over the course of your lifetime. What are some of your favorites?
You know the truth of it is though, I don't usually go to the bathroom that often in the high limit room. So I'm sort of I would have to go out of my way to do that, I guess, because I don't regularly do that. I know I really like the bathrooms off of the Wynn Tower Suites lobby.
Hmm.
That's not really in a high limit room. But I mean, maybe I need to spend more time examining the bathroom.
I mean, it could be a new segment for the.
Borgata used to have a pretty nice high limit bathroom.
We could have it on the YouTube channel, High Limit Restroom Tours, and you could walk around like you would a room tour. So over here we have the Japanese toilets. As you can see, there's a lot of functions for this toilet as well. If you come over here to the mirror, you'll see it's illuminated, surrounded by light. There's a waterfall.
Well, that makes me. You know who did? They used to have somebody who would call in, and I think the person still does on 500
Okay.
by midnight, and they used to give like bathroom reviews
Okay.
in Vegas.
All right. All right. We need that guy.
So so it wouldn't be a unique idea, but it is a ponder. We would love to hear. This is our ponder of the week. We would love to hear from you what your favorite. It could be. I'm most curious about your favorite high limit bathrooms, and of course you have high limit table rooms and high limit slot rooms. You know, Caesars just redid their high limit stuff,
Mhm.
and that makes me remember that I need to get over to Caesars. And I might be getting over to Caesars next week. So there you have it. And we
All
can
right.
check out the new high limit stuff. I think Scott was posting on Vital Vegas about a bunch of really nicely done renovations at Caesar's high limit, except they give everybody a hard time about taking pictures because Caesar still doesn't like you to take pictures. So,
Caesars.
and yes, I do have a trip coming up to Vegas. So I'm very excited about that. And that is going to be happening this weekend. So that's cool. I'm off to Vegas. My first Vegas of the trip of the year. Last year, I waited many months into the year to have a Vegas trip, but this sort of aligned. And the main reason why I'm making sure I'm getting this trip in because I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get back because I'm going to be in Mexico City and I'm going to be in Key Largo and I think I'm going to be in Madrid and I'm going to be in San Antonio, Texas. Woo! So I've got a lot of traveling coming up. So, and I'm going to be in Greece. So with all of that traveling, I figured I needed to get a Vegas trip in. And it's always nice to see Movestro in his, natural form. So that's pretty exciting. And we're going to do some content. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do yet. We have some great ambitions. of doing some different things on this Vegas trip, but we will see, because we've often had those ambitions and they don't always happen. So anyway, let's roll right into this tease, because I really happen to love this topic, and it is the new year.
Can I just say, as a correction, you won't be seeing me in my natural form. You'll be seeing me in my natural environment. Seeing me in my natural form is reserved for people who I don't, work with and aren't, it's
your natural form.
Yeah, my natural form is not something that you get to see.
What is your natural form? Is your natural form naked with a caviar spoon in your hand?
Let's get on to the tease.
Okay, so the tease is based on, we're putting the link in the show notes, but I highly suggest that you listen to Crap Vegas New Year, New Vegas Dreams. I love the title too, but Chris and Josh, or Josh and Chris. I never know who I'm supposed to mention first. I don't know. Somebody should tell me. Should it be Josh and Chris or Chris and Josh? So anyway, they did a really nice episode about, what their plans are for 2025 as far as gambling and experiences and things like that. And I thought that was really, really great. And some of the stuff that they were talking on, the one thing I wanted to focus on was their concept of maximizing some of their benefits. And I know they had somebody who wrote in a message, and it was sort of like a concept of like, where the chips fall. Like, hey, I've got all these benefits. I can't focus on all these properties. You know what? I'm just going to go and use a bunch of benefits, and I'm going to play however I play, and it's just going to work out how it works out. And I think this person who wrote in, if I recall correctly, because I just listened to it, it was this concept of comping yourself and people who don't want to worry about comps. And I know when we talk about comping yourself, there's people basically saying that they're just going to play how they're going to play. And if they have to play for some things, great. And if they get comped, great. And not as opposed to when I think sometimes when people say they're going to comp themselves, that they're going to use their reward points on their card. And this led to a conversation of Josh and Chris, or Chris and Josh, about how many comp dollars they have banked. And you should never be banking all of these comp dollars, because they're not necessarily going to go up in value. But I know some people do. There's numerous reasons for that. One is that all of your stuff is picked up by your host, and these balances keep accumulating, and you haven't found a reason to do it. And they went through a couple of different things you can do. I tend to have no problems sending balances in the casino, because I don't gamble at the same level that they do, but I tend to use most of the comps that I have. But they did go into the fact of you wanting to maximize all of your benefits that you have. And they were especially talking about Wynn. My personal opinion is, and I still feel that Wynn is the best property in Vegas, is the best overall experience in Vegas. I am sticking with being a complete Wynn fanboy, even though people like Josh have abandoned Wynn Las Vegas. And Chris, I give huge credit, huge props to, for making Black Card and now abandoning Wynn Las Vegas. So they were talking about how they're going to take their trip to Wynn next year, but they're just going to use up all their balance and not worry about tier or anything else, and take advantage of all of the benefits. And this is a really, really good point, because for people who could qualify for something like Black Card, you have got some amazing benefits, like the golf benefit, the Masterclass benefits, things like that. So that's really, it's really amazing. And the new Masterclasses now at Wynn Las Vegas are referred to as the Connoisseur series. And the ones coming up are really, really good. So the Connoisseur series coming up so far this year is Mastering Dim Sum on January 16th, Behind the Scenes with Wynn's K9 team, which seems super cool, on January 30th. Their description is meet the four-legged members of Wynn's elite canine detection unit at this exclusive behind-the-scenes Connoisseur event. And if you go on the Wynn Las Vegas YouTube page, you can learn about their canine team, which has actually won a number of awards. Absolutely amazing stuff. And they have areas near the golf course that they play with the dogs sometimes, just to give them a break because they're always working. And then there's another one that's the Valentine Suites for the Suite and a Mastering Sushi. That's pretty cool. Connoisseur series. So these are benefits you get as actually it's a benefit for Wynn Platinum and for Wynn Black. Since Wynn Black requires 70,000 tier and Wynn Platinum only requires 7,000 tier, it's much, much easier to reach Wynn Platinum. But I think this whole concept of, taking advantage of the things that you've earned because you work so hard to do that. And I think one of the problems with taking advantage of the things that you earned is when you have too many different properties that you're focusing on. Because if your play is spread out at all of these different properties, and of course, a little bit of it is dependent on how many trips you're going to make, it's really hard to use all of these benefits. That's why I am super boring and I do fewer trips and pretty much so just concentrate on Wynn. My trips have mostly been Wynn and then sometimes a stay at another property, with exception to during Zorkfest. This time, I'm staying at Wynn. I am in Tower Suites in an executive suite. I'm super happy about that because it's one of my favorite rooms. And I am just happy, happy to be back at Wynn. And also, another interesting concept that they were talking about is the comping yourself or not worrying about where things fall. A lot of times what I do is, I want my comp room at Wynn. I want my transportation from the airport, which is usually no problem. And I like to have somewhere between $500 and $1,000 in food and beverage credit. Sometimes I get some slot credit. But other things, you don't have to get yourself so crazy. Like to play more at Wynn to qualify for Tower Suites or a real suite at Tower Suites, like an executive suite or a parlor suite, is a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And they have upgrade programs, revenue upgrade programs, which are applicable with the comp rooms. And that's what I've often done. Now, as a fake black card holder who's matched, I have been able to finagle upgrades to Tower Suites, which are upgrades that are subject to availability. But if you want a real suite, like the executive suite or the parlor, you can pay for an upgrade. And what's interesting, when you pay for that upgrade, it's supposed to come with $50 a day also for breakfast, because that's the Tower Suites gig when you purchase rooms on Tower Suites. So it's just something interesting to know. But sometimes it's a lot cheaper to basically just pay to upgrade yourself than it is to play more to get those elevated rooms. So that's something to definitely think about. And I think it's not a bad idea. And then you don't have the pressure on you. And you know what? If you did wind up playing a lot more, then it could go towards additional food and beverage. So no reason to get yourself crazy. Wynn does value their room products a lot. But the other thing that's very interesting, if you want to use voodoo math or fake math or girl math, or that's what my family calls it, but I don't think that's very nice. But the girls in my family, if you look at the value of an executive suite, because an executive suite at Wynn for like this Saturday night is like 1,500 plus. Parlor suite is like 16 or 1,700 plus. So to pay, you're going to pay anywhere from $100 to $250 a night for an upgrade, and it's a comp room. You're getting a lot of value out of that. And comp rooms at Wynn, you also don't pay the resort fee. So that's some of my thoughts. The other thing is, I am a firm believer that unless there is a reason to leave a comp balance, you should zero out your comp balance. But once again, this does depend a little bit on what your situation is. Because if your host is going to pick everything up and leave your comp balance there, I can understand you accumulating this comp balance. And as Josh and Chris mentioned, sometimes at some properties once a year, you can convert those comp dollars on a one-to-one basis to slot play, which can be really, really good. But for mere mortals like me, I tend to like to zero out my comp balance because I just don't want to worry about it. I don't want it there. The exception to that is something like MGM, where you need a comp balance to get into a lounge like Amphora Lounge in Atlantic City. So you need $12.50 worth of comps. You can only pay for it with comps. So you always need to have some banked comp dollars. But there's nothing at Wynn that I have to pay for comps. But they do that sometimes at a lot of casino properties, that the only way to get into a lounge is to use comp dollars. So the problem is if you zero out your comp dollars and you do a trip next month and you arrive and you want to go right to the lounge or have lunch in the lounge or have a couple drinks, you have no comp dollars to get access to the lounge. So that can be a problem. But that would be my other caveat. The other thing is too, and I don't know if they mentioned that, but another really, really important benefit is taking advantage of tournaments and trying to keep an eye on that when you schedule your trips. And I know this is not that easy to do it, but I always say to people, only take trips. And I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that this time because this just works for me as far as dates. But if you really want to maximize your benefits, only take trips when there's a promotion. So if you can get a slot tournament, take a trip. If you can get a table game tournament, take a trip. If there is bonus free play, take a trip then. That kind of thing. Or if there's like a multiplier, only take a trip during a multiplier, which is something which is very relevant to Caesars, because in theory, you could, if you only took your Caesars trips when there was a 5 times or 10 times multiplier, that could be very, very advantageous for you. That's a little bit hard to do with regard to people's lives and family and all of that. But if you can really maximize always taking a trip when there's a promotion, that can be a really, really good way to do it. And even sometimes, like with the master classes, like with Wynn, like I was saying, if you really want to do the K9 masterclass, you need to be there. That's only one day. So that's something else to think about. And those are about all my thoughts. Anything that I missed, Movestro?
You're asking the wrong guy when it comes to this stuff, my man. I really, I'm not really the loyalty points kind of, but I do have a question because you're a member of a lot of these different programs, and the year just started. A lot of times with these programs, your benefits, whatever points you have left, etc., gets wiped out. Does that happen in the class or the tiers that you are in?
So the thing to always remember is that you have tier points and you have like comp dollar points or redeemable points. So in general, for almost all programs, the tier levels reset on January 1st. So everyone has 0 tier points. So right now for Wynn, I have 0 tier points. So I ended the year with whatever. And it's not that impressive. I ended the year with like just shy of like 10,000 tier points. And remember, I'm fake black card because I matched. And then I'm starting the year now with 0 tier points. But here's the cool thing. The tier point earning is January to December. That's why I have 0 tier points right now. But my black card is actually good until January 31st. So different programs do different things about the date. So like the new year for benefits for Wynn and for Caesars starts on February 1st, but the tier earning year starts on January 1st, if that makes sense. So actually this trip, I'm still Wynn black. Even though I have 0 tier, I am Wynn black card until January 31st. And then on February 1st, I become Wynn platinum. And that's a similar thing with Caesars. Like I was Diamond Plus last year, Diamond Plus and 7 Stars Companion. Come January 31st, I will just be Diamond. So that's actually a really, really good question. But it is also really important I always talk about it in Miles and Points and others. You've got your tier points, which deal with like what your status level is. And then you have your redeemable points, your comp dollar points, and everyone calls them different things. I mean, and that's and for airlines, it's redeemable miles. For programs like Bonvoy, it's just your Bonvoy points, and then you have your tier points, but it's good to differentiate. But then there are certain programs where your status ends on December 31st and your accumulation starts also on January 1st. So Fontainebleau, my status ended on December 31st, which was my match status, and you also go to 0. I'm not really sure about, and it is tricky. Like American Airlines earnings American Airlines ends at the end of February for earning, and the new status year begins on April 1st. But the tier earning starts on March. So it's a lot of, don't assume anything. You need to understand it, with the different programs that you're paying attention to, because that is really, really important to pay attention to. And I'm pretty sure, goodness, I should be embarrassed about this, but I'm pretty sure MGM is the same thing. You have the status through January 31st, but I know for sure your tier points are 0 to start. But that's a good question.
All right. Thanks for the answer. Before we get going, do you have anything on your mind or any closing thoughts?
No more closing thoughts. There are a lot of things I am thinking about, with different properties and opinions. One of the things I'm really interested about lately is people's opinions on Cosmopolitan, and if they feel things have changed at Cosmopolitan a lot since it's become MGMified. Is it MGMified or MGMified?
That sounds like a
So
good podcast ponder.
Yes. So we can ponder that. Put that in the notes. But that's everything for now. And I love this let's hear your New Year's resolutions. Let's hear your ponders. What are you going to do? Like I said, my opinion is concentrate on one property, and just I like the idea of concentrating on one property. I mean, I think a lot of it depends also on your profile if you're playing in different cities, but it is sort of interesting. Also, Venetian Palazzo are hot now. They're really comping people well, and people seem to really like it. I used to like Palazzo quite a bit a couple of years ago. I mean, I have nothing against the properties. I just feel they're too big. I don't know, but I'm hearing really, really great experiences there. So who knows? I might wander over there. And as you know, I love Crockford's, though I haven't played really that extensively at Crockford's. But I'm like at this point in my life, I am super satisfied with Wynn. There were maybe like 2 or 3 things, if they could be a little bit different at Wynn, would make me happy. But I'm really happy, and I'm looking forward to this trip. So that's what I got. That's what I got for you.
All righty. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Luxury travel booking, travelzork.travel. Visit us at travelzork.travel to plan your next amazing vacation. And be sure to reach out to us on social media and join the conversation. All social medias are at TravelZork. We'll see you next time.